Say what up to Derek.
What up, people? What up? What up? Thank you for
Derek,
having me on.
listen, man. If there's any feedback, I apologize because we're in the same room. Uh, but we're trying our best to limit the effects of that. But I'm going to post this really quickly, and I want you to go ahead, read through that if you can, and just discuss. Well, I'll read it actually.
All right.
I'm gonna let you go a little bit further because seeing it written out is just it feels different. It hits totally different. Um, all right. It says, and this is an excerpt from a book, I believe. I'm not sure of the book. I probably should have got my sources before we had this conversation. But what's the book by Mark Manson?
the
The,
the art of
the art of not
not
giving
giving
a
a
fuck.
fuck. Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is a total mind fuck. So I'll give you a minute to unpretzel your brain and maybe read that again. Wanting positive experience is a negative experience. Accepting negative experience is a positive experience. It's what the philosopher Alan Watts used to refer as the backwards law. The idea that the more you pursue feeling better all the time, the less satisfied you become, as pursuing something only reinforces the fact that you lack it in the first place. The more you desperately want to be rich, the more poor and unworthy you feel, regardless of how much money you actually make. The more you desperately want to be sexy and desired, we all do, right?
Yeah.
The uglier you come to see yourself, regardless of your actual physical appearance. The more you desperately want to be happy and loved, the lonelier and more afraid you become, regardless of those who surround you. The more you want to be spiritually enlightened, the more self-centered and shallow you become in trying to get there. So, with that, and I'm not saying that I particularly agree or disagree. Let's just leave it up for a
Yeah.
minute. But I, it's something I do want to discuss. And Derek, as you go into a little bit deeper, I'm going to try to get this Facebook chat popping.
All right. So for me, this came out of a conversation I had with a former student, and I think the best example that I can give, because I have up another site, and it says the pain you pursue in the gym results in a better all-around health and energy. So like if you look at it in terms of like how you like if you pursue something negative, because we think of pain as being negative, but at the end result you get there's a positive result, right? And so it really flipped the way that I am starting to think, because a lot of times the idea of like if I'm harboring on something, I don't realize that like that's by me harboring on it, it's only making it worse, as opposed to focusing on the opposite or the negative aspect of it, which is going to make it better. And so a lot of times, like if I want something to change, instead of me thinking or focusing on how it's going to change, I need to rethink and see why isn't it changing. And I think that's the key, is to sort of like focus on why are things the same, as opposed to like how can I make a change. What are your thoughts? All right, I guess I'm solo right now.
Yeah, I'm so upset.
So I am interested, like if anyone has any thoughts, ideas on this. I know it's kind of crazy. I'm literally also just now trying to grasp it. Like I said, I learned this morning from a student of mine. You know, it's one of those things where the student becomes a teacher, and the teacher is now the student. And it sort of blew my mind. And as I began to look into it, I was like, oh, this is a different way of looking at things, because a lot of times we want to pursue something, but the more what this theory says is the more you pursue it, the less you become it. And so it's like, instead of, the idea of like, how can I get somewhere, think about why you're not there. And so, let me know in the chat what y'all think, if it's something crazy, or you can just call in if you want to share your thoughts on it as well. I'm trying to think in terms of like, how can I put this in a real example in my own life? And I immediately always go to like my marriage is like the number one thing, because in any relationship, you're going to have your ups and downs, you're going to struggle, or you're going to also have your successes. But a lot of times, what we tend to do is focus on possibly like, why isn't the person doing what I need them to do, as opposed to trying to understand why is it they're doing what they are doing. And maybe that's what this law is all about, this theory and this idea is all about. It's like, instead of trying to figure out how can I get this person to do the thing I want them to do, maybe I need to better understand them and why they do what they do. And so, and it's hard. But one thing I was talking with Bel-Ami about just today is that I don't want to say we, I'll be personal. It's like, I need to learn how to better like take time, from hearing something from someone to reacting, which is not what I need to do. I need to learn how to respond. And so like, there's this thing that I learned called SOAR, which is stop, observe, analyze, and respond. Well, I always do the stopping and I always do the analyzing, but the amount of time that it takes me to get there is very short. And I need to really spend more time stopping, thinking about, observing like what's going on, and analyzing, and then responding. And so I know a lot of the theory. That's the thing. It's like, I always know the theory, but I always struggle in the practice and like the application part. And so one of the things I know I want to get better at, even as I think about this, is like, how can I really apply this, and not just how can I really apply it. Is like really more so for me, like taking the active steps to doing so.
Yeah. You said something really important there. The SOAR theory or not theory, but the application, the process. I guess it would be a protocol.
Yeah.
Which was stop,
observe,
assess,
or analyze, assess, the same. Yeah.
And respond. And what's so interesting? As you said SOAR, immediately my R became react in my mind.
Because a lot of
to rethink.
Yeah.
I had to rethink that. I was about to plug them in.
Yo, Lever, you still on?
Lever, you still around?
So.
If so, turn your camera on, bro. There he is. Hold on, I'm about to plug you in.
So with I'm glad you said that, because like there's a huge difference between responding and reacting. And a lot of times we are quick to react and not necessarily respond. And so the idea behind like responding versus reaction is like without thought. It's like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. Like, it's that impulse thing. But responding is being able to think about what it is that you want to do and then do it, and knowing that you're doing with some thought behind it. So
yeah, that's big, because like you said, the thought behind it, right? And I guess there's you have to take into account like a component of like, how long do each of these moments last? Like, how long is this stopping?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what is the difference between the stopping and the observing?
Right.
There's a difference.
Right.
You don't just immediately observe and you stop. Yeah. So
you got to pause. You got to do the Selah, as some would say in the book.
Lever, what you got to say? What you got to add to this, brother?
Man, oh, wow. Yeah. I think for me, it's like
First of all, before you continue, let me just hate on you for a moment, because this is now the second time we've been on a FaceTime call or something, and you've just been showing this beautiful sunny weather and the sunshine.
I'm sorry.
He took the scarf off just to like.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to do this. I'm
I
sorry.
ain't seen the sun in like a week, bro.
I'm sorry, man. I got to get black like y'all, man. I'm not there yet. You know what I'm saying? Trying to depth in my blackness, man.
Anyway, yeah. Go ahead. What are your thoughts on this?
You know what's funny, man? This reminds me of this whole idea of like never chasing money. You know what I mean? Because if you're if you are about what you're doing, you know what I mean? If you're walking with purpose, the money's gonna come. You know what I mean? Same with like I remember I looked back at old pictures of myself when I was in like tip top shape, and you know, I was like, damn, shit, got my sexy on in this era, right? But at the time, like I didn't realize it, you know what I'm saying? And I was out
Yeah.
here, trying to trying to find myself, right? And I look back at those photos like, wow, I don't think I was happy with myself,
Mm,
physically, right? And so I just feel that I've had so many ideas and opportunities, and I've seen it manifest itself in other folks that, you know, taking a step to, I think, reaffirm your purpose, your looks, your vibes, how you're approaching the world. I think it's important to do that. I think the affirmation process is important. I think this whole idea of I think it was saying like chasing money or chasing trying to alter your appearance and not
yeah.
appreciate and affirm who you are. I think it just kind of rings true to that. It kind of also reminds me of this whole I think it's was it Sisyphus of the idea like you spend your time trying to push this boulder up a hill, and then you don't realize it's not about getting the boulder over the hill. It's just pushing the boulder. Like, and you're never going to
Mm,
get it over the hill. You're just always going to be pushing it. And then that's your function in life, just to push this boulder. So, like, is your function in life to chase money, or is your function in life to impact people in the process of the work that you're doing? And understand within that time that you think is hell, that's actually most beautiful. Like, I have a friend of mine, love her to death. She has a job at a great company that we all use all the time, but she hates it. And I'm like, well, maybe it's because, right, at this time right now, everybody's using it, right? And we're all relying on it, which is what we all want. We all want to work for a company that's profitable to that extent. But,
yeah.
to some extent, like, yeah, your hell is really your heaven. And so how do you embrace that? Um,
Yeah.
I think that's a challenge in today's society.
Yeah,
So
I want to
yeah.
jump in. I want to jump in because literally you just said something that like resonated in me. I remember when I was in college, and I think someone else used this example when I was talking to them too. But like I was in college, and I would always be like, "Yo, I hate it here." Like then all like I wanted to transfer to NYU. The entire time I was in college at Purdue, I was like, "I want to go to NYU. I want to go to NYU, and I
Right.
want to do this at NYU." And then it's like I graduated. And then I look back and I'm just like, yo, that was so much fun and so dope. But because I was so wanting to get to the next experience in life or
Yeah.
experience something
Yeah.
different, I couldn't appreciate
Yeah.
where I was. And a lot of
Right.
times that's what happens to us. Like we don't appreciate the moment. We always want to go to the next moment.
Man.
And it's like we need to be in the moment. We need to stop, right? Like this idea of like just stopping, and observing what's around you. And it's like, and I can't get that back. The same thing with my
No.
daughter. I used to want my daughter to go to the next stage of life. Like I was so excited when she started crawling. Then I was excited when I was like, I can't wait till she starts walking. I can't wait till she starts talking.
Yeah.
Now my daughter's 14 years old, and I'm like, yo, I miss those moments. And so like with my kids
Yeah.
now, it's like I just want to be in the moments where they are.
Speaking of
You know,
speaking of
I'm sorry.
this protocol, this stop, observe, assess, or analyze and respond. I just want to take a second, really quickly, to remind you all to stop, observe, uh, analyze the fact that I'm really love you guys to follow, like, respond, or press subscribe and comment below. We'll run that one more time just in case you missed it. But let's utilize this protocol right now. Make sure you stop, observe what I'm asking you to do here, analyze, and respond. Hopefully you click the like button or the follow button, whatever platform you're on, or the subscribe
Yeah.
button. But it's really interesting because all of this is to say, or at least my interpretation, all of this leads towards presence.
Yes.
And it's ultimately presence. And presence is the point or the purpose, right? Because if you are present, like if you're in a state of positivity or happiness because you're feeling positive about everything, like you're going to inevitably affect change. You're going to affect the world with that same energy.
Yeah.
And so that's how we push to be a better. You get rid of problems in that way. Because you cease to acknowledge those things, or because you did acknowledge those things, so therefore that positive experience happens, and soon you realize you've been rid of all your problems. This is something that like I could actually see myself using this, but here's the real question I want to ask: how do you know you successfully utilize these things, or how do you know when the moment has arrived that you need to utilize this protocol?
Which one? SOAR?
SOAR. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm focused on SOAR because I think SOAR is like the practical
application
of this particular passage that we read.
I got you.
Of the backwards law.
I mean, I think for me, whenever it's time for you to respond, like literally right now, right? I could have just, instead of just jump in, I probably should have soared, right? I should let you finish. I should have stopped, right? Observe, think about what you really said, analyze it, and then respond. And because you probably would have got to the point of the question I just asked, which I was like, right now, or which theory are you talking about? And you would have got to the point of that. And so I literally just reacted. So let that be the example. I think that in anything that we do, we just need to take a moment, like take a second to meditate on something and think about it. I'm not saying take too long, because the other thing that happens, and I have a great example of this, I've been on OfferUp and eBay over the last couple of weeks, just trying to find a sewing machine for this venture I'm trying to start. And the crazy thing is like, I'll find one, and then I'm like, okay, do I want to get it? No, I don't want to get it. Do I want to get it? I'll send it to my mom, because she used to be a seamstress, and I'll be like, Mom, is this a good one? And by the time she got back to me, somebody sold it. Did the same thing about another one. I thought about it. I was like, I'm gonna come back to it. It got sold. So like in that instance, I took a little too long in my SOAR process. And so like, what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Like, and that's, I think, where the analyze part comes in. It's like you stop, right? You take a moment, observe, and observe is really more about like, how does it make you feel? How are you feeling right now? How is the other person feeling right now? Like observe what observe everything around you. Like, what is the situation, saying, right? And then that's the analysis aspect of it as well. So you take all that information in and you begin to analyze it. So you're observing how you're feeling, you're observing how the other person's feeling, or how the situation is. You're observing what's going on, whether it's a red light, whatever whatever it could be. And then you begin to analyze that, and also analyze how you want to respond. And think about like, okay, if I respond this way, I'll get this opportunity. If I respond this way, I get another opportunity. So case in point, went to eBay, I found a sewing machine. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get the sewing machine. I was like, but before I get the sewing machine, let me just read a little bit about like, some insurance policies just in case they get me on eBay, right? And so I went on eBay, read. It said like a money back guarantee. It also stated that like there was a 3-year warranty on it. And I was like, you know what? Let me cop that. Let me get it. And I got it. And then I got an email this morning that said this might not be an official, or this might not be an official like buyer or whatever. But the thing is, I remember reading that like I was able to get my money back. And so I'm okay with that, because if I don't get my product, all I know is I gotta hit eBay and they're gonna send my money back. So I think like so I learned from that process of like waiting too long to just learning how like let me act right now, but let me make sure I'm going through the steps so that I can do what it is that I need to do. Now, I don't always work well, like I said earlier, especially when it comes to like arguments and confrontations with significant others, or significant other. There's no others. It doesn't always work well, and I'm still practicing. But like as I practice, I know that like these are the steps I need to take.
Man, so um that part where it says the more you pursue feeling better all the time, the less satisfied you become. It
Mm-hmm.
reminds me, there's a period with my wife and I, since we were talking about significant others, a period where my wife and I, maybe that's what we should frame this, significant others.
So
um,
many parallels
but
to be drawn for a lot of these conversations.
but there was a period I remember where I was like, oh, I just want to be happy. And I felt like there's a part of our relationship where we weren't happy. I just lost my mom. And like, I remember going into the grocery store and knowing that when I go home and I cook this food, it's only going to be for me.
Wow.
And that gave me the emptiest feeling, excuse me, I can imagine. The fact that no one's going to say, oh, I like the presentation, or man, this food was hitting, or we should go so and so. You know what I mean? Like, I forgot the happiness is that pursuit, is this
Mm.
constantly staying engaged and involved. It's not like a moment, right? And so what I felt like that moment of like the moment I felt more was like the pain and longing and wanting to have that feeling again. And I remember being out and, you know, go to certain spots where I used to go with her to, and like the owner would come out and say, "Yo, what's up? Good to see you. Yo, where's your wife at, man?" I'm like, "Nah." And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Yeah, nah. I don't know." And they're like, and what's crazy is one of the things we would beef about is like trying to get her to come out and not knowing now that we're not together, spots that I would go to, they remember her. Like, are you serious, man? Yo, she would
It's just
never
hey, that's a
know.
reminder. It's your reminder. That's all it is. That's it.
Uh,
That's your reminder.
That's what. Say again.
It's just your reminder that where you need to be.
Right. I mean, but I definitely just reflect on this whole idea of pursuit. Like, there's a constant, like staying constant and trying to stay fresh and not staying stagnant. I was talking to Derek earlier, man. Like, I went to I was rushing the Apple store because my phone died, and I'm trying to get a charger. And the brother was like, "I'm gonna hook you up with this charger real quick." I was like, "No, no, no! I want the charger that I know. You know what I'm saying, with the USB and you know what I'm saying, the box. I want that." And he was like, "Well, I got this lightning bolt charger, and this is gonna actually charge your phone faster." And I realized I'm so comfortable with the old version of me with the bootcut jeans,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying, with the 38 jeans, you know what I'm saying? I'm so comfortable with that I don't open myself up for the new version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And be mindful that there's always a new version for you. Someone's working on it and crafting that DNA for you to shed that skin. You got to let that skin go. You know what I'm saying? And there's a constant battle with myself, because I see and I was telling Derek this, man, like my older brother sometimes he's that boot cut bruh, you know what I'm saying? Can't tell him
Yeah.
shit about boot cut jeans, man. And I get mad at him for not, switching up his gear, but then Derek would get on me about some shit, and then I revert to my brother with the boot cut, right? So who am I to be mad at him when in reality, when he's not around, I'm doing exactly what he's doing. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
So
Right.
I'm gonna cut you off really quickly because
please do.
it's brought me to something you said earlier. You were like, yo, this could just be about significant others. And then what you just said about your brother, and there's a common thread there, right? What often what gets to us about other people are things that it's just reflections, right? We project, and we're not really taking the time to soar in that moment and realize, yo, I don't have a problem with I don't have a problem with him. It's that these are qualities that I don't like about myself that now I'm seeing them fade out in front of me. And they're not registered, they're not resonating with me because you already have that relationship with these things about yourself. And it's a struggle, it's an internal struggle. And I often realize that a lot of times the problems we have with our significant others is that same exact thing.
Yes. Yes. We're just mirror. We're just mirroring.
That's it.
Mirroring and projecting. That's all we're doing.
Salute. Mirror, project, hopefully fix it. Project something new. Always got something new to do. So, overall, do we agree with this?
I think for the most part, I think for me, it's really more about appreciate where you are. And through appreciating where you are and focusing on where you are, then you'll get to the next step. But if you keep like thinking ahead and thinking too far, then it's only gonna put you more in debt. And so like I think like that's what it says to me is, and it's almost to that one saying, I forget who said it, but it's like uh, um there was a guy, talking about like how he made his millions, right? He was like, it really wasn't about making money for me. He didn't care about the making money aspect. What he cared about is like, I just really loved what I was doing. And he's like, I just put my head down and just started working and started working and started working. He's like, when I lifted my head up, I realized like, oh shoot, I just made $1 million. Because like he wasn't focused on the money. He was just focused on the moment and appreciating the work that he was doing. And so like that for me, I think is what I draw on. And it's like, and the thing is, and I want to say this too, I think that like, and it can't be one of those things that like, it's fake. Like, so sometimes like people will do like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to focus on, I'm going to focus on what I'm doing. I'm going to put my head down. But in their head though, they're like, I just want the money. I just want the money. I just want the money. That's not the same thing. What I get out of this is that like, you have to be totally present. Like you can't be thinking about like what's next in terms of like, ooh, what I really want. You have to really be thinking about like, okay, this is where I am. This is what I have. How can I make the best out of it? So,
Yo, real quick, I want to take another moment real quickly and show that we're soaring. If we got soar,
yeah.
I swear you guys. So I want you to take a moment and stop, observe this little advertisement, and make sure you follow, like, subscribe, share this conversation. Look, we'll be doing these more often. We haven't figured out a schedule yet, but I know it's something that is necessary.
I have an idea. I got an idea.
I want to make sure one of our brothers just popped in, Ricky, the one and only Ricky Kentwood Jr. Ricky, what up, bro? Your mic. We can't hear you.
Is this on Bel-Ami's live or what?
Yeah.
My wife is like, oh, I want to watch.
Come on, tell me, come and get a conversation. Ricky, you good?
What's on his gram? It's not on his gram though. I had to check.
It's on YouTube. You know the Bel-Ami music on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, word. Okay. That's what's up. I'll let her know.
I don't know why.
Audio's a little choppy, man. How y'all doing, brothers, man? Hey, yo.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Tonight, man.
Appreciate it.
What are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts? I know you popped something in the Facebook chat
Y'all caught my attention 100% when y'all pulled that Alan Watts quote, man. I love that stuff.
So you're familiar with it? Can you hear me?
Let's see, hold up. The audio's a little weird.
Typing. Someone's typing something.
Yeah, Ricky's typing. Now I was saying, Ricky, so you're already familiar with the quote?
What up, Ricky?
What's good, brothers?
Oh,
Good. The audio is just really, really low. I can't hear it, but
Oh, can you hear me, or is it you just can hear Bel-Ami?
I can hear you. I can't hear Bell.
Got it.
I'm gonna get rid of these. Beats is trash. Beats is trash. I'm Spanish speaking.
No, so what Bel-Ami said was, he's like, "Are you familiar with Alan Watts?"
Oh, 100%, man. I listen to Alan Watts at least once a good day, man. And as I'm going through my workouts, when I'm coming out of my workout, that's like my meditation, because it gives you it's a very just straightforward perspective on life. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff that, we've been told traditionally, we can hear it, we understand it, but then when you have this real world universal approach to understanding different concepts and philosophies, it makes you look at everything you learn completely different. I hear it, I'm just like, a lot of the concepts that, we hear growing up, the way he explains it, the way he explains God, how just our way of being, how to manifest things, it makes sense, and that's why I put it in the chat. It's like, man, like having the idea of I want something so bad only makes you realize what you don't have, and then you feel worse because you feel like you don't have it. So I've completely, I'm a life coach, and part of my company is called Reprogram. So I reprogram my thinking with understanding what we're asking for. You know what I'm saying? So some of the stuff we ask for, we don't even know why we ask it. We just saying stuff. But every time we say something, we actually manifest in exactly what we saying. But it's really endless and pointless words that make no sense. Then you end up getting something that you really don't want. So the stuff y'all talking about, I was like, yes, that's my stuff right there.
Nice. Yo, by the way, that's a dope company name, Reprogram.
Yeah, I had to do it myself, man. I've completely taken my life from the bottom, man, from dealing with depression, anxiety, being overweight, dealing with a lot of health issues. And I had to I realized it was just my way of thinking about everything. And so I had to completely change the way I saw life, change the way I saw myself, and the stuff I was thinking about. And as soon as I started doing that, things just started happening, man. Taking myself off of medication from being overweight now to it's like, being super intentional with everything I'm thinking and saying. So I don't just say words no more that doesn't really apply to my life. You know what I mean? So I'm teaching people, look, constantly reprogram your thinking. If it's not working for you, change the system, bro. 100%.
So Ricky, talk to us about how you did that, because like it's easy to say I just reprogrammed my way of thinking, right?
Yeah.
But we need some tangible steps and I'll just, for perspective, I met Ricky as a drummer. And I think you probably were working full time then too, outside of drumming. But I know Ricky as a drummer, and then I mean that's been years. It's been years since we last interacted, like face to face. But I've seen your progression thanks to social media, and like so I can see it wasn't like an overnight thing. You know what I'm saying? It's something you definitely were deliberate about and took your time with. And as a person who struggles with finding the discipline to do those things, I'm just curious to think, like, with under the lens of what we've been discussing, like, how did you make that shift for yourself and begin to like make these changes in your life?
Yo, 100% appreciate you. And number one, shout out to you for having this platform. Yes, dude. I want to say this, man. You have been one of the most consistent musicians I know. So shout out to you for doing what you do.
Thank you, brother.
Like I said, it's been about over 12, almost 12 years now. You know what I mean? It's like always doing music, always doing this thing. So shout out to you for being super dope and consistent, man.
I appreciate it, brother.
Definitely. So for me, man, honestly, I'll give you guys a short version because I know I'm a talker. But I got to a point in my life where I literally wanted to commit suicide. You know, I was on the verge of doing it, man. And I was raised. I'm from Port Arthur, man. So we got the PA mentality. It was like, look, man, you can't go out like that. You know, and having the mindset of either I'm gonna do it or I'm not gonna do it. If I ain't gonna do it, I'm gonna do everything possible to defeat and fight whatever's going on in my head. You know, and so that was the beginning of it. It was like, okay, so the whole process is, and it's the same way I coach people, and I'm straightforward when I'm coaching, man. I say, look, my system is very, very simple, right? We point out the distractions, okay, change your perception altogether, come up with a plan, and then you be accountable. So I saw that I had to go back with what things are distracting me from understanding myself. You know, my beliefs in
Hold on,
myself.
Ricky, can you say that one more time? I want to put that in the comments so people can hear them. You said first start with the distraction.
Yes, I point out the distractions first. You know, point out the distractions, change your perception, the way you see things. You know, make it make sense to yourself, and then come up with a plan of action. And then the last part is just accountability. Okay. Once you realize what distractions are, you go through a process of eliminating them. You know what I mean? Saying, okay, which one of these distractions, because we all have many of them, are really taking the biggest toll on my life. So once I figure out what the biggest distraction was for me, it was just my perception of myself and how I view myself as a man. You know, not feeling like a man. That was the first step. Say it again.
That's good. That's good. So let me ask you this question. So you point out the distraction, right? And so you realize that, and then and you went to like, I think the hardest part is for a lot of people is identifying the distraction because they think that either they're perfect or they don't have any distractions, or the actual distraction is not what they're really what I want to say, like presenting or showing. So like it's like a false distraction, right? So they'll state something, but when in reality it's something else that's causing the behavior. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I'm going to make sure because it's really choppy on my end, so I'm hearing subtitles. It sounds like you're doing an old kung fu movie. It's like, you bet.
Oh yeah,
but
I mean, what about your headphones? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna read. I'm gonna see if I understood what you were saying. So basically, is it a physical distraction or a perception? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no. So yeah, in the sense, what I'm saying is, I guess I'm asking two questions. The first question is, how do you know what the distraction is? Right? Because a lot of times, what we think is a distraction is maybe an actually a manifestation of the actual distraction. It's not. So, for example, a lot of times we might say that like I'm an overeater, right? But in reality, that's not what the distraction is. The actual distraction is that like you suffer from like high anxiety that causes you to overeat.
True. I love that. That's the way you worded it was so perfect. The easiest way to point out the obvious distraction is it benefiting you? Okay. For what your obvious goal is what are the things you're doing actually benefiting you? And keep it simple. It's off and on. Is it working? Yes. Is it not working? No. That's a distraction. You know. So once you realize is that okay, what my ultimate goal? Let's just use fitness for example. I need to lose weight, and I'm personally I can tell you my personal story because now I'm dealing with hypothyroid. So as a bodybuilder, it's even more challenging and complicated to figure out how to manipulate the hormones, right? Mm-hmm. So dealing with hypothyroid, it's like, okay, cool. What are the distractions per my condition? I cannot eat anything that's complex carbs, rice, all that stuff, because the only thing that does, it messes with your thyroid and makes it overactive. And so if you have hypothyroid, it makes it twice as bad. Okay, so even though I think I'm doing the right thing, my condition does not allow me to eat rice, does not allow me to eat anything processed because it completely messes with my thyroid, causes my metabolism to slow down, makes me gain weight. Okay,
Gotcha.
so obvious that just helped me. So let me cut that out. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we got to like pointing out the distraction. All right, so the next step is changing your perception. What's a process? I mean, I know everyone's process is going to be a little different, but what what do you need to do in order to change your perception? So you know what your distraction is now. What do you need to do to change your perception? I guess it's number 3.
Okay, yeah,
right?
I'm gonna give you space to make sure I heard you correctly.
Okay.
Changing your perception is first thing we have to do is identify with what you have been currently taught and what you're currently doing. Okay, see yourself and see the habits that you do have. Because everything is habitual for the most part. Like, what habits are you doing every single day that's giving you the results that you currently have?
Mm-hmm.
If you're just kind of blindly doing things and you're doing things unintentionally, then you don't even see what you're doing. You're just completely unaware. You're just doing stuff, you know. So now change your perception of
You're in
what
auto
you're doing.
mode,
It's like, hey,
autopilot.
pay attention to what you're doing. Huh?
No, I say like you're just in autopilot. You're in autopilot.
Yeah. Yeah. And the same thing with eating. People just kind of blindly do things. And so see yourself and say, okay, the stuff I'm doing beneficial. I don't even see what I'm doing, you know. So my perception of myself is, am I doing things that are productive or counterproductive? And if they are obviously counterproductive, you got to change the way you see the things that you're doing. So we're doing things that we think are good for us, but in actuality, per our condition, per our body, per our mindset, per our goal, they're actually counterproductive. So change the way you see that good thing, that bad thing that you're doing.
So
Listen.
how about so like so what I really hear you saying is this is like the true definition of being woke, right? Like because you're saying like to
In short,
be actively
yes.
conscious. not that other definition that people talk about, but you're saying like, look, I need to be actively conscious about what it is that I'm doing. That's what really woke means, right? So like in your life, you should probably be woke more so for yourself and for your own benefit than trying to be trendy on Instagram.
Speaking of being woke,
Let's
let's just take a moment and ensure that we all stay woke. Make sure we follow, like, and subscribe, whatever platform you're on. We're gonna have these conversations. I make music, but I also live a life, and these are the conversations that I have day to day with my brothers, and I just wanted to take it public, man, because I realize a lot of people don't have these conversations. And Rick, Justin, we were talking to Justin earlier this morning, and what did he say? Crap, it was just in my head. He said something to the effect of, like, these conversations, they keep you motivated, right? So when you have these conversations, you're reinforcing those things that you already know with other people, which adds energy to those things, right? And it keeps you motivated. And so you have to talk these things out, because otherwise you forget, you get lost in yourself, your own day-to-day or momentum or lack thereof that you're in at the moment. And so these conversations going is really important. And this is something that we want to do consistently. So one more time, like I said, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe, whatever platform you're on, and you'll be updated whenever we have these conversations. If you have something to add, feel free to pop in. I posted the link in the chat, and we're going to continue this conversation because we're just talking about staying woke. And when I think about everything that we talked about to this point, right? Even I think the distractions keep you from soaring, right? Not being accountable keeps you from soaring, because you're not accountable to, like,
the things that you, or the person that you desire to be, like who you know you truly are, if you're reacting to everything, right? So with all of this stuff, I want us to get to like we've discussed different ways to synthesize this, put this in practice. What is the intended result of us putting these things into practice?
You know, I used to go to the beach out here in San Francisco, and my wife would ask me, "Why do you like going to the beach? Like, it's cold. Like, why do you keep going?" And I just like staring out. And I think I enjoy doing it because there is no limit. You know what I'm saying? I think I live in New York City. You always see limits because you see buildings and you know, oh, this is how high is. But like when you're staring out of the ocean, there's no limit as to how far you can go, how far you can go. You know what I'm saying? There's no limit where you can stretch your mind in terms of what you can accomplish. So I feel like I oftentimes put a limit on myself. You know what I mean? So when you're talking about like what are the goals that you can have, I feel like I might limit myself by establishing that, you know what I mean? As opposed to saying it's ceilingless, it's limitless in terms of like, because you don't know the impact you're having on somebody else. So now it's spreading beyond just how it's improving you. How is it improving other people that you're interacting with? You know what I'm saying? I just had to just share that. So that's all.
Nah, I totally agree with that. And I think that's an important piece to this conversation because ultimately, like, we're not here alone. So anything that we do, I mean, our ultimate purpose is it can't be self-serving. Like that's fruitless. So when I think about why like we want to do this so that we can have more positive experiences, right? I'm just going back to the quote that got us, on this, and I'm gonna put it up here really quickly. But it's just about waiting or wanting positive experiences a negative experience, accepting negative experiences a positive experience. So about acceptance, about being present, about using the store, about or assessing what our distractions are, right? Using all of this to better the world around us, I think should be the ultimate purpose. It sounds like that's what you were saying, Lieber. And also, like, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to think of the best way to word this. Like, if that is the goal of, if that's the ultimate goal, then isn't that in itself like almost in a way like the purpose of life? And I know you can't answer the purpose of life question all the time. That's the hardest question to answer.
Hold on.
But I think
He's right here.
It gets us closer
He's
to
right
that.
here.
Were you saying? Oh, you talking to somebody else?
Sorry, man.
Bro.
My people's dog is in. I'm sorry, it's California, man. The dog is.
You that dude on the Zoom call. Just take together.
No, hey, look. When it comes to animals for Lieber, he'll stop the world to ensure the animal is safe. That is
my homeboy's dog was off leash, and he didn't know where it went. But I can look down and I can see that his dog is in this other person's backyard. I'm like, nah, Fiver's over here. The homie Fiver's right here. And
the dog like, Fiver?
No, the dog's name is Fiver. So like number 5 and then the letter R. So Fiver.
Like the app.
Yeah, like the app.
I don't know what app y'all talking about, man.
Bro, you live in San Francisco and you don't know about apps?
Dog, I live in Oakland, man. I don't know nothing. Oh, okay. Apps, man. Let's keep that 100. There's an app named Fiverr.
Yeah. You can get anything for $5. Be careful, don't get in trouble.
Oh, it's like, was it like Pornhub or something like that?
No.
No.
It's definitely like Craigslist.
All right, no, yeah, I'm about to do a
okay.
Fiverr. So, you know, Fiverr is a dope app where you can like get anybody to do anything in terms of like freelance work for the minimum of $5, but sometimes they charge you more. But there's a lot of professionals on there, so yeah, you know.
Oh, like I got 5 on it. I give you $5 to do this for me.
Yeah,
Maybe one day we'll choose to sponsor some brothers who just want to have conversations.
yeah.
We're gonna make this a thing, bro. We have to make this a consistent.
I got an idea.
We're gonna talk about this
I
idea.
even knows what I'm talking about.
Yo, I definitely want to honor time, man. And before we got on here, we said we were gonna only stream for an hour. We got about 5 minutes left, and so with the last 5 minutes or so, man, I just want everybody to take a minute and plug yourself, man. What do you do? How do you do it? And where can we support? Let's start with you, Rick.
Oh, this was I was last, so I wasn't gonna take that opportunity, but
that's why we let you go first.
That's what's up, man. Yo, I appreciate you for having me on here, man. We get with Junior Am, a certified J. Shetty life and success coach, personal trainer, nutritionist, musician as well. Huh?
So we need to talk. You got some.
Oh yeah, man.
Go ahead.
I'm
sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good, brother. I'm still learning, man. My main goal is to help people figure out their purpose in life while getting physically and mentally fit, man. That's my main thing.
Nice.
RPGM, reprogram your mindset. That's what it's all about.
Nice.
Wow. How you follow that?
And where you located at, Rick?
I'm in Houston.
All right, cool. I don't make
H-Town,
people
baby.
know.
H-Town.
And do you have any website, social media people can follow you on?
Absolutely. It's literally rpgm.us. If you just think about reprogram us, that's what I'm all about. RPGM us. Reprogram us.
Oh, dope.
Damn, you saw.
What about
gift certificates for? Well, hold on. You saw gift certificates to your friend. It might be a little. You know what I'm saying? Like a little
hey man, I'm all about the
goals.
people. I might have to go to Fiverr myself, huh?
Nice. What about you, DJ Elbow Greasy?
Yeah. So, yeah, DJ Elbow Greasy. Yeah, I'm DJing on Twitch. So www.twitch.tv/DJ Elbow Greasy. So I do, jazz on Monday nights, Wednesday nights. I do just like R&B and a little bit of hip hop. And then Friday has just been, Feel Good Friday, all the Feels Good Friday. You know what I'm saying? So
Nice.
you never know what you're gonna get, man. But it's just to help you to get to that space, but help me get to that space. During the day, you know what I'm saying? I teach math, so I teach out here in Berkeley, California. But I'm gonna eventually start, teaching, posting some of my lessons online for kids who have math anxieties and just want to see math through a different lens. You know what I mean? Those reflections that we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking of a geometric perspective of reflection. So that's it. That's in a nutshell. You know what I mean? I work with Derek to try and express myself and get some of my goals out in the world. And hopefully y'all hear about that sooner than later. That's about it. That's what's up.
Isn't it? You talk about geometric principles of reflection, and as a former math teacher myself, it's so interesting. You can have the same shape in a different quadrant and not recognize that it's the same thing, just over multiple reflection points, right? And no matter what, you can get back from that distorted point to the point you originally want to be at,
right?
With just the right series of reflections. The doors of the clutch are now open.
Shoot, talk about changing perception. There you go, right there.
That's it. Man. That's it.
Shit,
that's it,
man.
And sometimes, if you have, a shape can look completely different, and you don't realize it's the same thing, just with a different set of circumstances. You could be that person that you just walk past on the street.
Or better yet, you've moved on. You've moved from one quadrant to the next, but because you moved on, you're not recognizable to everybody. You know what I'm saying? You're the same kid.
Hold on. Another layer. Hold on. We didn't beat. Or let's get into like this understanding of physics here. These things are happening at the same time, right?
Yeah.
This is you in a different space in time, running concurrently. Maybe you jump in and out, and that's why you can relate, and maybe that's why you hate parts of yourself, because you jumped to other spaces and realized you've seen how bad it can get. Maybe when you're approached by somebody who's challenging you and you black out for a moment and you see yourself killing them, like you're actually doing that. But because you stopped and observed and analyzed and responded, you're keeping yourself. Come on, man.
You gonna get people throwing names, man. People gonna start giving out names and addresses and shit. Man. You better stop that, man.
Stop, man.
Come on, man. That's the next one.
Yo, you're being
You
so
need a whole other hour for that one.
Bel-Ami.
Yo.
So
DJ Star, talk to him, man.
All right, so for me, I much like my man Ricky, actually much like probably everyone on here, realized that I needed to do some things for myself. So I'm the owner of the Emerge Group. You can find us at the Emerge Group LLC. We do a bunch of different things, but the biggest thing for us is our passion is the pursuit of your purpose. And so, like, I'm all about helping people pursue and chase, and not just chase, but live their purpose and live it, to the best of their ability. I got some other things coming up. I'm, keep that on the down low, keep it on the hush for right now. But my main thing in this world is to be the best me, so that I can take care of my kids and do what it is I need to do in this world. So yeah, follow me, the Emerge Group LLC.com, the Emerge Group on Instagram and Twitter. There's nothing on there right now, but you can still follow me because I'm building it. But if you also want to follow me, it's DJ Star _22. That's something else coming out in the near future.
So definitely go connect.
Yeah, man. And me, I'm Bel-Ami. As you see, listen, I got a dope ass project out right now.
Yeah,
make sure you check it out.
Got some good ideas on that one too.
Listen, I'm a musician. I'm an artist. I'm a creative. I'm a husband. I'm a son, a cousin, a teacher, a student, all of that, man. And I try to share those experiences in my music and in how I relate to people. And hopefully I'm doing my part to create some more positivity in this world. And personally, this was a great moment for me. Like this right here has been what I've needed today. Started off just as good as it's wrapped up. And I really can't thank you all enough for just being on here. We really just, we was like, okay, let's just go live right now.
I want to say something.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So this is really about living in the moment. This is literally like doing this video cast right now, this broadcast is literally about living in a moment and not hesitating, but like thinking about it and observing and analyzing and really responding to what it is that we needed to do. And I love the way it turned out. I mean, I met a new brother, Ricky, and I always got my dope boy, DJ Elbow Greasy on here, and of course my brother from another mother, Bel-Ami. So, I think that this is going to be something, who knows what's going to come out of this, but like, this is what happens though when you respond the way you're supposed to respond in the universe. So
100%, man.
Who's recording this? Anybody recording this? So
yeah, we got it.
It's being recorded right now.
All right.
Via StreamYard. If you're looking for someone to sponsor, let us get a free let's get our free waive the cost of our monthly. But it's being recorded. It's on all the socials too. It's on my personal Facebook page. It's on my YouTube page and my Twitch page for artist pages. So This will be up there, man. You can share it with your people. I'm just gonna leave it up
Of course.
until we have the next.
Word.
Dope.
Good looks.
Man, so this was dope, man. I appreciate you for having me, man. I'm honored to be around a bunch of wise men, man. I feel I'm honored right now. Appreciate
Absolutely,
y'all.
brother. Hey, we iron sharpens iron, bro.
That's right, man. RPG for life.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
like that. I like that.
So with that said, I'm gonna take us out. Just remember, look, follow, like, subscribe wherever you are, and yeah, I wish I had a better like outro situation, but you know, we'll work on it. We'll get it together. This was just a response to the moment. We stopped and observed, and we analyzed, and you brothers responded, and
I know.
that's what it's about.
Right. If they build it, they will come.
Absolutely. Anyway, all love.
All love,
Y'all
y'all.
take it easy.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Blessings. Peace out.
Peace. Peace. Peace.